Hey, what's up, guys? This is Frank. This is not really a tutorial. It's just more like a walkthrough, and like I don't know. Like I'm just gonna give a couple of tips out for Stormy Knight. He's been having problems with his model. It's mostly the textures and his, the normals on his model or whatever. They're kind of facing the wrong direction. Like this one, this image, it looks way better than the first one, and I think this is what it looks like in hit film. So there's obviously something going on with the normals. But first, I'm just gonna answer a couple of questions for him. He asks if his original texture is 512 by 512. Should he set the image size to the original size in the UV image editor? And like, answer is yes, because in the UV image editor you can tell Blender to tile the image, because you don't want to resize something this small and make it bigger, because you're going to lose a lot of detail, and plus it'll get all pixelated. Then he asks, does the image? I'm assuming he means the textures when he says image, but does the image need to be packed in order to be exported as a OBJ file and or read in HitFilm? No, you don't need to pack the images or textures into your blend file. The only time you really would want to do that is if you're working alongside a bunch of other people, like working on a model. Like say you create the model, then you're gonna send it out to the guy that's gonna texture it, and you just like say you already have all your textures picked out and they're the ones you want to use. You just open them up in Blender, then pack them into the blend file, then send it to your texture guy. Then when he opens up the blend file, all those textures will be in there, like in the blend file or whatever. That way he can work on it and stuff. So that's kind of what it's for. And the next question is, when the model is exported to an OBJ file, does it carry the UV mapping and textures with it? And is the MTL file where textures and UV mapping are stored? And okay, this one's a little bit complicated, but let me see if I can answer it. This first part, technically yes, it has. Well, let me answer it this way. When you first export a model that's been textured and UV mapped and all that, when you export it as an OBJ file, it'll automatically have a .mtl file with it. So, like say you'll need to create a folder to save your model into, and you're gonna need all your textures in that folder to be able to use them. And what the MTL file actually has is information about your materials that you assigned to your model, your UV texture coordinates. So when you open up the model in another application, you'll be able to apply the textures to it. And I believe it has like scale options for the your model, and like probably a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't even know. But the MTL file doesn't actually include the textures themselves. It just has the information so you can texture the model or apply the textures or whatever. And the next question is, does the MTL file get used by HitFilm? Honestly, I don't know, but I'm assuming that it does, because that's probably what tells HitFilm, like, hey, this is how the model should be wrapped, or this is how the textures go, and here's the materials or whatever, and the scale or whatever. And the next question is, he says, also, I've been exporting, saving the UV layout. Is that necessary, or does that end up in the MTL file? No, it doesn't. The UV layout is just image that you export out of Blender or whatever 3D app you're using, so you can texture your model. or whatever. So that's what it's for. And last question, he's asking about creating scenes. Like I can show him Stormy Night that like really quickly. And then the last, I guess, question is, how did you find the normals that were askew? Do you have magic vision? Stormy Night, I actually do. I actually do. Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. So I'm gonna open up Blender real quick and open up Stormy Night's model. Now there's gonna be a few things here, but I'll try to make this as quick as possible. The first one is we're gonna go into edit mode on the first model, or the first piece of the model, and click T to open up this properties panel. Then you see how we have all these triangles? I'm going to deselect everything real quick, and I'm going to show you something. Go to edge select mode down here. If you click Alt Shift and click on the edges, see how it's only selecting 2 at a time? See that? It's I'm assuming it's because of all the triangles, but I don't know for sure. I mean, it could be that there's extra vertices or extra faces somewhere, but I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna actually convert all of these triangles into quads. So I'll select everything in the object and click Control J, and you'll see all the triangles turn to quads. Then normally when I see triangles or whatever, I always click remove doubles, and like this one doesn't have any extra vertices or anything, so I'm just gonna hide that one, then click on the next object, tab into edit mode, click Alt J, and remove doubles, and this one doesn't have any. I'll hide it, click H to hide it, select the next object, tab into edit mode, Alt J, remove doubles, and this one had an extra 79 vertices, so it's a good thing that you always check your models, especially if they have triangles. Then I'll hide it, click on the next one, click Alt J, remove doubles, that one was fine, click H to hide it. Then I'll just follow the process. Alright, so that one had 1,300 vertices, or extra. And that might be an issue, like, with why the textures weren't being mapped properly. It could be, you never know. And I'll click Alt H to unhide everything. And here's like another problem that I think Stormy Night ran into. Like, click this little textures icon up here, and if you go to mapping, see how it says generated? It should be UV. So I'm just gonna go through all of them and hide them as I go. So this one's okay. This one should be on UV. UV. Then I'll click Alt H again to unhide everything. Alright, so that should help a little bit. And I'll select the sphere again Actually, give me 2 seconds. I'll just hide all that stuff real quick and select the sphere. Tab into edit mode. Click N to open up this properties panel, and if we go to mesh displays, down here under normals, click on these two little icons. It'll show you which way your normals are facing. And this whole space right here, that's where the normals are facing in the wrong direction. So I'm gonna click A to deselect everything, go into face select mode. And this is how you would fix it, like if you didn't want to have to remodel the whole thing. I'm going to click C to circle select. And I'll just select a few of them. That'll work. Then right click to get out of or exit circle select mode. Then over here on the left, if under normals, you can click recalculate or flip direction, doesn't matter, they both work. See, now they're facing in the correct direction. So you would have to go through all those spaces, all the ones that are facing the wrong direction, and fix them. I'll click Alt H to unhide everything. So for each object, you'd have to select this option over here, just so you can check out the normals and make sure they're facing the right direction. But you have to do it in edit mode. See, so all these faces right here in the center, they're all facing in the wrong direction. So you'd have to, like I said, you'd have to go fix that. And that one seems to be okay. Except for a few of them, like there's a couple right there. But it's not bad. And these are facing the wrong direction. So there you go. That's a good way to fix your model. Then let me see here. I think the last thing I wanted to show you was like, say, if I go to my desktop, I have a folder here that I made for Stormy Nights model, and you can see it's just a blend file all by itself. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about when you pack your files. Stormy Night actually packed he's got a couple of textures in here that he packed into the blend file. But if we go to unpack into files and click on the first one, then go back to that folder and just give it a second, you'll see all his textures appear or whatever. Because he's gonna have to oops, I actually almost did forget something. I almost did. Wow. Anyway, yeah, he's gonna have to what am I thinking? He's gonna have to UV unwrap the image like mark seams, and I'll show him real quick how to do that. And I'll use this as an example. But now I can turn these things off. And I'll go to edge select mode. Click A to deselect everything. Then I'll click Alt Shift, then right click, and it should select the whole edge loop. Yep. Same thing, I just clicked Alt H and right clicked. I'll click Control E and click on Mark Seam. And we need to do the same thing for the other side. Then Control E, Mark Seam. Then we'll need at least one down the center or whatever, just to split it up. Then we'll mark the seam. But like I said, you'll have to go back and first you'll have to fix all the normals before you do all this. Or, actually it doesn't matter. And if I select everything, like you'll see here, he's actually got a really good unwrap already. Like it's okay. Like there's a few issues, but it's not bad. But if we click U after selecting everything, then click on wrap, you'll see a big giant mess of stuff. So instead, we'll use a Smart UV Project. Now you get like the unwrap is like pretty clean. At least it looks that way. And I think we're having issues because I would also have to select the seams. Where are they? Around this. Oops, sorry, my screen's acting up a little bit. We would have to unwrap these or mark seams for this right here. Nope. So you'd have to do that for every little one of these bad boys that you have. So I'll do that real quick. I'll just pause. Alright, so here's another reason why it's probably not unwrapping properly. Like there's a lot of extra faces and triangles. Not in the way that there were before, but you kind of don't want these. So I'm going to delete these edges real quick. Oops, and this one too. Then I'm just going to select two at a time and click F to make a face. I'll just delete those. Alright, sorry about that. Had to answer a phone call. Anyway, so sometimes you have to do this, like do a little bit of cleanup on a model. I end up having a bunch of extra faces and stuff all the time when I don't even mean to. It's not on purpose, it's accidental or whatever, but that's what happens. Alright, let me see here. You guys remember a little while ago when I, whenever I first unwrapped, I didn't notice this up here. It says object has non-uniform scale, so it's not going to work. That happens when you first create an object and you scale it in object mode. So this has obviously been scaled in object mode or whatever. So we have to apply the scale, and that's this right here. It's not a. It should, all of these should be at a 1, but obviously they're not. So if we click Control A, just click on scale, set it all to 1. So now if we unwrap, it should have worked. Man, I thought I was being smart. Let me try this. That's a little bit better. Yeah, let me just show you real quick. I actually unwrapped these two. All these little greeble looking things that are just sticking out. I marked the seams on all of them as well. So, like, yeah, the ship itself is not bad. It just needs a lot of cleanup. So here's where you would click on average island scale and pack islands. I mean, it's not bad. Like, we're wasting a lot of space here. So I'm gonna delete this seam right here. Just click Control E and clear seam. Then unwrap again. Now it's a little bit nicer. That'll work. I mean, that's with just a couple of minutes working on it, but yeah. So you have to make sure you don't have any crazy, like, amount of extra vertices or whatever. So always, like, double check your models or your meshes or whatever. But I think that's everything right there. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. Alright, so, like, this isn't a perfect unwrap. It still needs a lot of work or whatever, and it'll probably take a while. But, alright, hope it helps you, Stormy Night, and see you later.